Hi, you guys. Here's another story for you. This is Baabwaa and Wooliam by David Elliot and illustrated by Melissa Sweet. Here's the title page. This is Wooliam. He's a sheep. You will note that Wooliam is reading. There are not many sheep who read, but Wooliam is one of them. This is Baabwaa, also a sheep. In this picture, Baabwaa is knitting. Knitting is a very practical hobby for a sheep. It's surprising not more of them do it. Oh well. Okay, there's Baabwaa. Baabwaa and Wooliam were best friends. They spend most of their days reading and knitting. Knitting and reading. Sounds kind of boring, but they like it. One day, Wooliam looked up from his book, an adventure story, pirates, treasure chests, that sort of thing. I've been thinking, he said to Baabwaa. Thinking is good, Baabwaa answered, or so I've heard. We should have an adventure of our own, said Wooliam. Agreed, said Baabwaa. There are only so many sweaters one sheep can knit. And so the two friends set off. The day was perfect for such a thing. The flowers were blooming, the sun was shining, the birds were singing. This last bit about the birds was especially good because adventures usually involve some kind of trouble, and it's nice to have a little bird song to help you through it. There was, however, a problem. Baabwaa and Wooliam lived in a field, and the field was surrounded by a stone wall. Which way? Asked Wooliam. You decide, Baabwaa answered. Left then, said Wooliam. Baabwaa thought they should have gone right. The two sheep walked around the field. Once, twice, 3 times. Is this what adventures are like? Baabwaa asked. All this walking, I mean. I don't know, said Wooliam. But I do know it's making me hungry. Me too, replied Baabwaa. Grass, anyone? The two friends were just finishing their lunch when, quite unexpectedly, they were approached by a third sheep. A sheep with a long, rangy tail. A sheep with a sharp whiskered snout. A sheep with a filthy wool coat. Hey there, mutton chops, said the sheep. What's shaking? When he grinned, Baabwaa's heart broke. His mother had never taught him to brush his teeth. We've been looking for adventure, Wooliam said. Well, look no longer, the new sheep said. You found one. And he snapped his horrid teeth most unpleasantly. Is that a wolf in sheep's clothing? Run, said Wooliam. It's that wolf in sheep's clothing I've read about. If this is an adventure, said Baabwaa, I'm not a fan. Oddly, the bird song did not seem to help much. Suddenly, the wolf stopped his shenanigans. Well, let's quit this nonsense for a minute, he said to Wooliam. I'm interested in that thing you said earlier. What thing? Asked Wooliam. That thing about me, said the wolf. Wooliam thought for a moment. Not sure, he said, but Baabwaa's memory was better than Wooliam's. He said he's read about you, she said to the wolf. The wolf's eyes, which up to now had been kind of shifty looking, grew round and large. Is it true? He asked Wooliam. Have you actually read about me? See for yourself, said Wooliam. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a book. The wolf took a step backward. He looked at the blue sky. He looked at the green grass. He looked at the big stone wall. He did not look at the book. "Oh dear," said Wooliam, "I see the problem." "What problem?" said the wolf. There's no problem." "You can't read," said Wooliam. The wolf howled a mournful lupine howl. He dropped his shaggy lupine head. Baabwaa's heart broke for a second time as a salty lupine tear fell onto the soft ground. "It's not my fault," cried the wolf. I'm just not the reading kind." "Well, Wooliam can teach you, you know," said Baabwaa. The wolf lifted his head and looked at Wooliam. "Would you?" asked the wolf. "Would you do that for me?" Wooliam didn't seem so sure.
"Of course he would," said Baabwaa. "And in the meantime, I'll knit you a new coat. That one is a disgrace."
And so Wooliam went about the business of teaching the wolf to read. It wasn't easy. The wolf often jumped up in the middle of a lesson and chased the two sheep around the field. This irritated Wooliam to no end. Look. He can't help it. He is a wolf.
"Don't let it get to you, Wooliam," said Baabwaa. "He's just following his nature. Besides, all that reading and knitting has taken its toll. We could use the exercise."
Eventually, after a lot of hard work and several extra help sessions, the wolf did learn to read. And when he saw what that book had said about him, he was outraged. "This is so unfair," he complained. "It says here I'm cruel and sneaky." "And your point?" said Wooliam. "Well, it's not true," the wolf insisted. I'm just rambunctious."
"Well, that's one word for it,"
said Baabwaa. And so, over time, an unlikely friendship formed between wolf and two sheep. One that involved a fair amount of chasing. But there were quiet times too. One afternoon, when the wolf was on the second volume of a new series he liked and the two sheep had shed quite a few pounds, Wooliam turned to Baabwaa. "This has been quite an adventure after all," he said. Baabwaa put down her knitting, a set of snazzy leg warmers for the wolf.
"I agree," she replied. "Much better than pirates."
The wolf looked up from his book. "Can you two chatterboxes keep the noise down?" he said. "I'm reading over here." Oh, look, his teeth look nice now. All right, you guys. See you next time.